V8 Super Sedans, one of Australian Speedway's premier sedan categories. On today's show, you'll see highlights from Goulburn in the Southern Highlands region of New South Wales and Mountain Dew Ice Raceway in Hobart, Tasmania. The championship reaches a vital stage, and you won't miss a thing as many of the sport's big hitters slug it out for national supremacy. Our coverage presented by Speedway Australia. This is the one and only Chequered flag celebrating 19 years. Proudly presented by Valvoline SynPower, providing the ultimate in protection and performance. After successful rounds being staged in Toowoomba and Gympie, the National Super Sedan Series moves south to Goulburn in New South Wales. Heading into the Goulburn round, the top 10 points look this way. Michael Doblow led on 1,020 in advance of Mick Nicola, Mark Pagel, Darren Kane, Matt Pascoe, Jason Campbell, Peter Nicola, Lachlan Onley, Matt Williams and Sean Black. Sunny conditions greeted competitors and fans alike in Goulburn, and Darren Kane, who won in Toowoomba, and triple national champion Mick Nicola, who won in Gympie, were among the pre-meeting favourites. South Australia's Dave Gartner won the corresponding round the season before. South Australian-based potato farmer Dave Gartner is one of the most popular drivers in Australian Speedway. Now established as one of the heavy hitters on the National Super Sedan scene, Gartner began racing as an 18-year-old at his local track.
I was just going to Mount Gambier as a young bloke watching Speedway. Got me interested. I think it's about when street stock started back then, and yes, 10 years there, and then got into Super Sedans and just wanted something to do a bit different, and we'd won a fair bit in street stocks, towards the end when I left, so needed a bit more of a challenge, and I certainly got it in this class.
After 2 rounds of this season's National Series, Gartner finds himself digging deep in an effort to overcome plenty of bad luck in the early rounds.
Yeah, it's a really bad start, something we couldn't have hoped for, to be so bad. So I think that just happened sometimes. We came up here with good form actually on the start of the season, and second in the Queensland title, and then we just got involved in a bad crash at Toowoomba, and I think that crash actually caused us to go to Gympie, and we had an engine failure at the start of the night which set us back for the whole night. So hopefully the new year now, and hopefully we can start again, and we're going to have to have some really good last 5 rounds.
As a former national street stock champion, Dave Gartner still maintains a great passion for the budget class, and his 2 sons are now racing in what is a highly competitive category. Dave says it was a huge thrill going back and running in last year's Australian Championship.
Yeah, I just went back because I wanted to race with my boys mainly. They were both running and I've never raced with them, so it was good fun. They both qualified and I didn't, so I actually hadn't driven a street stock for about 12 years, so it was good fun. It was just because it's in Mount Gambier, it was good to go back there and do that. Would have been nice to have made the final and race with them, but we didn't. But it was just a good social night and a bit of fun.
The Australian title was a very closely fought affair. I mean, Anthony Bear could have won that title, but he didn't. He obviously missed by a few hundred metres, but the closeness of street stock racing really shows how competitive sedan racing in this country is.
Yeah, I think it's a good starting point, and I found the same when we started. There was 4 or 5 of us in Mount Gambier that were all really, really quick, and it pushed each other on, and my 2 boys are racing there, and maybe in the next 3 or 4 years they might move on, but I think it's a good stepping ground to this class, so we'll have to see what happens.
Do you want to see your boys racing in super sedans like you, or do you think that's something that might do after you maybe step aside, should you decide to?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money to race one of these cars, so I probably only want to race for another maybe 3 or 4 years, and then we'll see how we're going, and I might enjoy putting one of them in the car. So we'll just have to wait and see. I've still got a bit of unfinished business that I'm trying to do, so we'll just have to see how we go.
Despite having 2 sons on their way up in the sport, Dave Gartner is still very focused on his own career. He's desperate to win the National Series and the Australian Championship in Super Sedans. The latter, a race he nearly won 3 seasons ago.
Yeah, no, I still hurt from that a little bit. It was my own fault that I lost, and we did pretty well in Perth here last year, and Murray Bridge, I'm really looking forward to that. It's almost like a home track for us. It's going to be around Easter when the track should be pretty grippy, and that's what we like, so I think we've got a pretty good shot at it, but it's a hard race to win, so hopefully we didn't let our one chance go by.
You've been a Super Sedan manufacturer as well. Of course, you built the Bullet car over the about 10 seasons ago, but now you're running a Dominator. How difficult was it to build your own car and run your own car before making the decision that maybe running and building your own chassis wasn't the way to go?
Yeah, I think I just got involved in that early on in my career, and I eventually realised that we couldn't keep up to the expertise of the cars being built out of Queensland mainly, and so then I just decided I wanted the same car as what basically the best guys had, and pretty much from the moment we bought a car, I noticed a difference straight away. I could keep up to the guys, so it was good.
In the opening heat of the Goulburn round of the National Super Sedan Series, Parkes-based Toyota dealer Tony Barclamore would start on pole position, with hard-charging Queenslander Mick Doblo sharing the front row. Doblo won the start and was never headed. The Rockhampton-based seafood shop proprietor too good for his rivals, defeating Mark Pagel, who advanced from position 4 on the grid, and Tony Barclamore was third. Peter Nicola was next, followed by Australian champion Matt Pascoe.
It's going to be a real dust bowl by the end of it, and pretty hard. It's tight both ends, and it's also going away, so it's tricky. I don't know what to do to mine.
Heat 2 saw Lachlan Onley and Mick Nicola starting side by side, with defending champion Darren Kane on the outside of row 2. Mick Nicola led the field away and was able to fend off all challengers. Onley, Kane, Jason Campbell and Dave Gartner put on a great show behind the Victorian. Kane muscled his way forward into second place, but he couldn't pass Mick Nicola, who hugged the pole line to perfection. Lachlan Onley finished third.
Yeah, the car was too tight, and I just had to try and hang on as best I could.
In Heat 3, Queensland's Jack Childs and Mark Pagel shared the front row, with Bill Miller and Tony Barclamore on row 2. Childs was the best to begin in the 24 car, but he ran wide and allowed Bill Miller to storm to the front. Peter Nicola, who started from P5, was on a charge, passing Childs and then Miller to take control. The Victorian drove away to take the win, in advance of Mark Pagel and a fast-finishing Matt Pascoe. Meanwhile, Tony Barclamore sustained damage after coming together with Jack Childs.
Well, it's starting to get very slick now, so it's becoming very, you have to take it very easy and just drive the line.
The starters for Heat 4 then took to the 400-metre circuit, and Goulburn local Paul Kronitis started on pole with the legendary Darren Kane on his outside. The hard-charging Dave Gartner was on the inside of the second row, and Tasmanian Steve Latham lined up on P4. On the first turn, Kane made a rare mistake running wide, and Kronitis got completely out of shape and caused a stoppage. On the restart, Gartner moved up to the front row and careered away for a popular win, despite the advances of Lachlan Onley, who drove a blinder. Darren Kane came home in third place.
Yeah, no, just it's not the way you really want to win, just holding me line there, but I needed the points after that first heat, so I just had to do what I had to do to win it.
The penultimate heat saw sweet chassis constructor Matt Pascoe starting on pole with Bill Miller on his outside. The Australian champion led all the way to claim the heat victory over Peter Nicola, whose solid night continued, followed by Michael Doblo.
Yeah, no, car feels nice. We'll go in and do a couple more little changes, go back to pretty well where we normally go for a feature, and yeah, she should be good.
The Gold Coast Jason Campbell started from pole in the final qualifying heat and led Mick Nicola, Lachlan Onley and Dave Gartner during the early stages. Mick Nicola tried everything, but he couldn't pass the Queenslander on what had developed into a one-lane racetrack. The Victorian settling for second spot in front of Lachlan Onley.
Yeah, yes, it's not much point pushing too hard because no one can really go around the outside in that type of track. It's unfortunately a bit slow and not real exciting, I suppose, but do what you got to do to get home in number one, mate.
Lachlan Onley, who hails from Orange in mid-western New South Wales, was scheduled to start from position 7 in the main event, and he was focused on the job at hand.
Yeah, no, the car seems good. It's just need a bit of track space, like just a bit of a gutter race. Everybody's sitting on the bottom, and yeah, we feel quicker than we just need a bit of space. That's about it. Yeah.
The Nicola brothers, Mick and Peter, would start from positions 1 and 2 on the grid respectively in the 35-lap A main. Matt Pascoe and Mick Doblo shared row 2, and defending champ Darren Kane had plenty to do from position 9 on what was a very difficult track to pass on. Dave Gartner, meanwhile, began the race from position 8. After 35 laps, punctuated by several incidents, the top 3 finished in exactly the same order they started in. Mick Nicola first, Peter Nicola second, and Matt Pascoe third. They were followed by Gartner, Pagel, Campbell and Kane. After 3 rounds completed, the top 10 looked this way. Michael Nicola, who had now won 2 rounds in succession, led on 1,506 points. Michael Doblo on 1,262 points was next, followed by Mark Pagel, Matt Pascoe, Peter Nicola, Darren Kane, Lachlan Onley and Jason Campbell.
Yeah, when you're racing for points for the series, like you pretty well got to try and get as many points as you can, because every little, like we lost last year by 2 positions, so if we had have stepped out and had a go, and maybe it might have paid off, but we wouldn't have probably got back in down. We might have got them on this end, but we wouldn't have got them down that end, I reckon, and they would have held us out, and then we probably would have dropped back to 8th or something. So we needed the points, and since we had that bad run at Gympie, but yeah.
Yeah, would have. You know, first would be a lot better than second, but you know, we struggled in the first heat tonight. Like, you know, the pole line was really wet, and when we started third, we got washed back a bit, and you know, lost a few places there. But as the night progressed, we climbed up through the ranks, and yeah, and qualified pretty good for the feature.
Yeah, very happy. We struggled in a couple of heats, but the boys got the car set up good for the feature, and yeah, we hung on to win it.
When we return on Chequered Flag, our cameras take you trackside for round 5 of the National Super Sedan Series. The venue is the Mountain Dew Ice Raceway in Hobart, Tasmania. Plus we profile Big Billy Miller.
You're watching the 19th season of Chequered Flag, proudly presented by Valvoline SynPower, delivering the ultimate motor oil protection and performance.
Thanks for being with us on the Speed Channel around Australia. Mountain Dew Ice Raceway in Hobart is the venue. Round 5 of the National Super Sedan Series. Hope you enjoyed the Goulburn package prior to the break, wrapping that round up. Right now, let's head down to Drury Forbes, and he's standing by to chat with the current series leader.
Yeah, thanks, Chappie. We're here at Mountain Dew Ice Speedway, the most southern speedway in the world, with championship leader of the Nsss Series, Mick Nicola, the Victorian from Traralgon. Mick has been a sensational start of the season. He won a couple of races. How are you feeling heading into tonight's round 5?
Yeah, feeling pretty good. We've won the 2 heats, rounds, but we lost DNF in another round, so we should be further in points. And so tonight we've got to do really well to keep up there.
What's been the difference this season, you think, for yourself personally, as opposed to previous seasons, that's brought about all this success thus far?
New car last year, and we're starting to get our heads around it for this year. I haven't had a bar car before. I've been a Leaf man, so yeah, I had a 1 year in the car now, so we're starting to get it right.
And also brother Peter Nicola also having a good season.
Yeah, he done really well last night, so he's one to beat again tonight, and I think there's a lot of good cars here, so it's going to make it very hard this evening.
we're really looking forward to seeing you in action here tonight at Hobart. We're getting towards the business end. I've got to ask you, I was talking to your crew chief earlier, you have a habit of changing your mind on the car setup just before the start of a race night. Is there any truth to that?
Well, yeah, there is a bit of truth. It's a matter of watching the track and just, last minute adjustments. The track changes a fair bit, so you just got to get it right.
So what setup have we got in place for tonight here at Hobart?
Well, we go out and try it again in the hot laps, and then we'll start setting it up from there on in.
Yeah, Mick Nicola, he's enjoying a stellar season. Round 4 of this championship conducted at Borderline Speedway in Mount Gambier ahead of tonight, or this weekend's racing. There's the results on screen in case you're not across it. Dave Gartner winning at his home track, which is good to see, defeating Steve Latham and Tony Barclamore. So the current standings, we've just heard from the championship leader, Michael Nicola. Right behind him is Matt Pascoe, Mick Doblow having a good series, Mark Pagel consistent as always, and Peter Nicola rounding out the top 5, the Victorian on 1,390 points. Now this event in Hobart this weekend, a 2-night show. Last night there were 2 preliminary A-mains. There's the results on screen. Here's a feature story on Billy Miller. Bill Miller lives and breathes Super Sedan racing. He's been one of the mainstays of the National Super Sedan Series since its inception. He's not only a highly competitive driver, but a tireless administrator behind the scenes. He's also a history maker. He's driven in every round of the National Super Sedan Series since its inception, and he's the only driver in Australia to have done so.
Yeah, it is a proud thing to do. It's an achievement for myself. Probably in 15 years' time it won't mean anything to anybody else, but to me it will be. So it's an achievement in itself. So yeah, it's really good to be able to do that.
Not surprisingly, Miller believes the National Super Sedan Series has assisted greatly in elevating the status of the category to new heights.
Oh, look, it's just a big thing for super sedans. It's put the profile right up there with the sprint cars and stuff, and it puts it on a national stage, and it brings more people, and it brings all the competition up to another level again, and it's just great racing.
What is it about the series that keeps bringing you back? I mean, you're the best person to ask. You haven't missed a round.
Oh, look, the competition is the best thing about it, and every year it gets better and better. And the guys like Darren Kane and Matty Pascoe and the Dave Gartners get better every year, and it just pushes yourself to go better again against those sort of guys.
You mentioned a couple of names there, the Gartners, the Kanes, the Pascoes. Any unidentified talent you see emerging in the 2013-2014 series? Any young guns we need to look out for?
Oh, look, everybody in the series is tough. Peter Nicola this year has done exceptionally well. He had a brand new car at Toowoomba this year, and the thing goes straight out of the box. Has been very good. So he's one to watch this year.
Miller has sampled several categories of oval track racing, ranging from Formula 500s to speed cars, before fulfilling his destiny in V8 Super Sedans.
Yeah, I started when I was 16. I didn't even have my driver's license on the road. I only had my learners, and we started racing formulas. Then we progressed up to speed cars, and then we got into sedans because the rest of the family was into sedans, so we stayed that way, and we're still racing sedans today.
What do you think you're most suited to out of those 3 different types of racing?
Oh, the sedan's definitely better. It's got a bigger window to get into for a start, and it's got a starter motor. It's easy to work on, and it's just something the family's always done, so we just love doing it.
You've mentioned family a few times now, Bill. It's obviously a big part of your life, and I understand your mum and dad raced as well.
Yeah, Dad raced years ago, and then he got in an accident and broke 3 ribs, and he stopped racing, and then Mum started racing. She raced for a long time. It wasn't that long ago that she retired due to health reasons and stuff, and we've just continued on from there, and it's just been a great family deal.
Bill Miller's Super Sedans are easy to spot on the track by virtue of the bright pink paint scheme he chooses to campaign. One guess who is the driving force behind this choice of colour.
That was a Mum. She did that when Mum and Dad started the business years ago, and drove around town looking for a colour, and Mum decided on pink, so that's what it's been ever since.
I thought perhaps wife of 26 years, Deanne Miller, might have had something to do that. Tell us about your relationship with Deanne, because it is truly a great story. Been together for 30 years, married for 26, and I caught up with her earlier in the truck back there. It seems like there's something special there, and she's been with you every step of the way.
Yep, she comes with us everywhere we go. We wouldn't go racing if she didn't come with us. Sits in the truck in the passenger seat and does every mile that we've done on the road, because she doesn't drive, so that doesn't help. But no, as I said, she's been there, great support for the whole time, and just her dad also we used to work on Steve Stewart's car back home, so it's just a great deal all the way along.
Billy Miller, a tremendous asset to sedan racing nationally, does a stellar job behind the scenes too. So we pick up the action tonight at Mountain Dew Ice Raceway with a running of heat number 10. Rod Calhoun joins me in commentary.
Yeah, absolutely looking forward to this, Dave. A great track, just 440 metres around the pole line, a really good super sedan track.
You rode a speedway bike around this venue, if memory serves me correctly, as we look at the grid with Nichols and Doblow sharing the front row. That was a test match between Australia and Russia. And on the inside, we get them away with David Nichols, the Tasmanian, in the Bullet car. Doblow on his outside, very aggressive, leans on him and charges to the front. Have a look at the traffic behind Nichols. It's Darren Kane, Matt Pascoe, Harper is there, and Mick Nicola too.
Yeah, very, very busy. We've got a stoppage. Gee, the track looks in fine fettle. This should be an absolute cracker.
It was a bright start. The pace was a cracker. I do not understand why that race has been stopped. The Valvoline SynPower replay, it looked to be a fairly even start. Neither car on the front row stood on the gas prematurely. Doblow aggressive in the first corner, chops Nichols off. I do not know why that has been stopped. So we come back for the restart, different front row now with Nichols on the inside, and Darren Kane has gone up front. So Pascoe and Doblow now share the second row. Your guess is as good as mine. Underway, second time of asking. Nichols got away to a better start this time. We're right on board with Darren Kane, the master, at work as he chases the two up front. You can see that Pascoe has charged through, the Australian champion, up into second, and now Kane returns the favour as you're right on board with the expat Tasmanian.
Yeah, very busy in the cockpit there. Great vision and a really nice high line forming. It's going to be some great racing. Look at this, straight underneath. Very, very tight here, but Nichols holds on.
So the Bullet chassis of Nichols leading the Dominator frame of Darren Kane, prepared by Ian Botcher Racing. Pascoe, who was very quick at the beginning, is now battling to stay in touch with the two up front. Kane, meanwhile, has taken the lead. Nothing unusual about that.
Kane always looks quick. He's a very, very good driver. As you said, Dave, now lives in Queensland, but an ex-Tasmanian, and no doubt loves this track. Oh, Billy Miller involved there, not good.
Yeah, Billy Miller, who we profiled a little earlier on the show, getting into trouble with Nicola in the national warranty car. You can see Mick Nicola on the inside, and Harper, former Australian champion Jared Harper, he and Nicola come together. Miller had nowhere to go, just one of those things. Valvoline SynPower restart. Thank you to Speedway Australia for its support in bringing you this exclusive coverage of the National Super Sedan Series as we watch the master at work.
Yeah, Darren Kane in fine form. And Dave Nichols also doing a very good job, but with Matt Pascoe hunting him down, that can't be a good feeling.
Gap between first and second is about 6 car lengths. There's the race update for you. Matt Pascoe is getting on with things, starting to harass the second place driver. Nichols fence cam as they slide through the turn. Doblow is under siege also from Jared Harper.
Yeah, it really is a wonderful setting here at Hobart Speedway. Just 25 minutes from the Hobart City. Very well positioned, and some wonderful scenery around the racetrack as well, as you can see in the background.
Here's a mistake by Nichols. He leaves the door open, and Matt Pascoe invites himself inside. Moves up a spot. Track certainly developing a cushion. It hasn't done Michael Doblow any good, though. The Rockhampton Seafood Shop proprietor has got himself into trouble, parked precariously. Officials left with no option but to restart the race for safety reasons. You can see the cone, or the witch's hat, they locate in the middle of the racetrack on restarts. All drivers have to stay to the outside of that to affect any, or to nullify any premature or illegal passing.
Yeah, I think the difficulty the drivers are finding here with the outside pass is the outside's very, very moist still, and the inside quite hard and slick, so a really big difference between the two lines. As you see Nichols there, just touching the darker dirt, trying to get drive down the back straight.
Very picturesque venue, the Mountain Dew Ice Raceway. One of several good stadiums in Tasmania. This class of racing super sedans, arguably the #1 draw card in Tasmanian Speedway. They've always boasted great depth in the driver ranks. And again, we ride with Darren Kane, 3 times winner of this National Super Sedan Series. And of course, former national title holder as well.
Yeah, not much. Darren Kane hasn't won, and he'll be looking to put his stamp on this series, though Mick Nicola's got a pretty handy points lead, that said.
So Kane, well clear on the last racing lap. Here he is now, 1 corner to run, and Darren Kane wins heat race number 10 of the weekend at Mountain Dew Ice Raceway. A big gap then to David Nichols, who was involved in a race-long war with Matty Pascoe. Bill Miller recovered to get 4th, and Mick Nicola, well, he survived to claim 5th. You'd have to describe that as a dominant win from Darren Kane, who started from position 4 originally and then on the front row.
Yeah, thanks guys. We're here with Heat 1 winner and defending champion Darren Kane. Well, you must have some fond memories here at Hobart.
Yeah, I have, mate, but I sort of went pretty good here last year and wrapped up the series, but having a few engine dramas at the moment. It's getting hot, and had them last night, so we're trying to sort them out and getting ready for the feature.
Yeah, we want to talk to you about that, but firstly, must be nice to win the first heat of the night, and you seem to benefit there, being the main benefactor of the Doblo mishap at the start.
Yeah, that's always a bonus, mate. So the luck pulling your way, and we've had a bit of bad luck the series so far, so it's good to have some good luck.
And what about the car? There seems to be a bit of work going on in the background.
Yeah, we've had engine troubles for the last 3 rounds now, and it's just trying to sort out a bit of a fuel issue, and it was running really hot that heat. I had to back off sort of towards the end, so I think we'll get on top of it for the feature. So
Kane looking relaxed, he's at peace with the world. Winners are grinners, aren't they, Rod? As we advance now to heat number 11 of the National Super Sedan Series, round 5. McPherson and Gartner to share the front row. Brad Smith, Peter Nicola, Barclamore and Charles. Brad Smith, a former winner of this National Series, one of the gun Tasmanians. He hasn't been contesting the series in its entirety this term, and comes into this weekend's event as one of the standouts. McPherson, a standout during the early stages of this race. The 79 Shearwater mechanical entry takes the lead. Have a look at this, a 3-white scrap for second, Rod.
Yeah, Brad Smith gets a saloon passage up into 3rd, and you mentioned earlier Billy Miller being an asset to the sport. Brad Smith's been a long-time asset to Super Sedan racing as well, a great supporter of any series and any major event around the country.
Yeah, excluding this year where he's tended to base himself in Tasmania, he's always covered more territory than Burke and Wills in his pursuit of the holy grail of Super Sedan racing. Races everywhere on the mainland.
Yeah, he would have had permanent seasickness from the Spirit of Tasmania. I reckon he was on it that often.
That's it. Peter Nicola, aggressive here, giving some hurry up to the race leader. Barclamore, the same can be said of him. Not a bad battle. Most improved driver is Peter Nicola, younger brother of triple national champion Mick Nicola, and here's a chance for him. McPherson, a little bit wide, and Nicola fancies his chances up the inside. Tony Barclamore, the Toyota dealer from Parks in Midwestern New South Wales, is 3rd.
Yeah, I think McPherson's is in 2 minds here whether to run high or low, so he's about mid-track, giving Nicola an opportunity up the inside if he can establish some grip off the turns here.
Not a lot wrong with the racing here. It's a good spectacle. Night 2, round 5, and a wonderful battle up front between Nicola and McPherson. Likewise behind them, it's Barclamore and Gartner getting it on.
Yeah, Nicola, that was a really nice pass, no touching, just picked his moment. He'd done the same thing for 2 or 3 laps, then just went straight through. Great drive there.
Battle continues. What a race it is as we look back at the Valvoline SynPower replay.
Yeah, you can see Nicola here, just picked his moment. As I said, McPherson in 2 minds for the 2 or 3 laps prior. And Nicola had sensed that, and there he goes straight through. Great pass.
Yeah, you got the feeling McPherson was starting to drive defensively, didn't you? And paid the price in some respects. Easy for us sitting up here to make comments. Dave Gartner, the Prince of Panola. potato farmer, very successful businessman involved in a lot of different enterprises. But can't he drive a race car?
He certainly can. He's a very quietly spoken fellow too. He does a great job behind the wheel. Just getting busy here for the minor placings.
Yeah, it's a real battle for the minors. Peter Nicola is relishing the wide open spaces ahead of him. Across the line, he takes the checkered flag. McPherson, good enough to finish second. Barklemore, solid drive by him. Dave Gartner was in there, and Brad Smith a little off the pace by his normal lofty standards. So Pete Nicola cruising to a fairly effortless win, biding his time in what was a very patient drive, passing McPherson when he had the opportunity.
Well, Heat 2 winner, congratulations driving the V2 car representing Victoria, Peter Nicola. Mate, you started from 4, very well done.
Yeah, thanks for that. Started 4th. We were equal points before we went out there for first. There was 4 of us for equal points. We started 4th and come first in our heat, which now puts us into second position.
You're having a really good season. I mean, you're nipping at the heels of first place, who happens to be your older brother. Is that giving you extra motivation to do well, the fact that he's doing so well?
Well, yeah, no, it really does. It does give us a lot of motivation. It gives us something to look forward to in the heats and everything.
I mean, how badly do you want to beat him, Peter?
Oh, yeah, no, we all want to win. That's definitely the place to be. But, we definitely want to win.
Yeah, it doesn't look happy at all, Peter Nicola. Catching up with Drury Forbes. Thank you for that, Drury. Now, this is the final heat. Heat 12, round 5 of the National Super Sedan Series. Second generation driver Callum Harper. Or in fact, third generation driver. Beachy, Onley, Roberts, Pagel and Latham. Just 6 cars, but plenty of quality. Lachlan Onley has really established himself as one of the sport's best over the last few years. Starting from the second row, that is Lucas Roberts, the Victorian champion in Car Zero. He builds the insane chassis rod, and he and Brad Smith, the 2 most notable drivers running those cars, have had really good success.
Yeah, Lucas Roberts a very heavy hitter in this sport, and certainly someone that you'd favour in any major event or national championship.
So he leads Latham by about 3 car lengths, and Callum Harper is next on the circuit. There's the 8 machine of Steve Latham, doing his best to reel off smooth laps. Up front, Lucas Roberts in complete control. Latham is next, and then Callum Harper being stalked by Lachlan Onley. That's the battle you're looking at.
Yeah, I don't think Callum Harper would have had much option as to what sport he would pursue, Dave, given his family traditions.
Yeah, you're right about that. They would have locked him up if he didn't do this. Here's Onley on the inside in the 17 car.
Yeah, that outside line really forming now, and Harper got the benefit there, just touched the outside rear on it and shot down the back straight away.
It's a beautiful evening in Tasmania, not a cloud in the sky. Conditions perfect. We've seen an entertaining night of racing where drivers have been able to use both lines. We've seen no shortage of overtaking manoeuvres. Here's Harper up higher on the circuit. Onley rather sticking down low. Onley in the Dent Coal Transport entry. And it is some battle.
Yeah, Latrobe and Hobart Speedways combining to form an organisation called Dirt Track Kids, which I find very, very proactive. Encourages children to join the club and get involved with the sport, and I think it's a really positive thing for the clubs down here in Tasmania.
Indeed it is. Speedway racing, big business in the state of Tasmania. Lachlan Onley looking to make his presence felt. He continues to stalk Harper, and you can see that Pagel joining in too now in the number 4 car. Very seldom puts in a bad drive, Pagel. Now we switch our attention back up front. The leading cars, Lucas Roberts.
Yeah, Lucas Roberts, geez, catching some bumps there, but geez, really opened up a lovely, lovely lead here in what should have been a pretty tight heat for him.
And Roberts takes the win in the final heat over Latham. Wants to go on with it and run another lap at full pace. There's the results on screen. Roberts, Latham, Harper. Only, despite throwing everything at Harper. The young Tasmanian able to hold on and scramble onto the podium in that one. Let's go down and hear from one of the sport's more jovial characters.
Well, tremendous effort in Heat 3. Our victor tonight goes to Lucas Roberts, the Bendigo native, the proud Victorian. Lucas, fantastic drive, but you started from second all of a sudden. What happened to Adam Beachy?
Yeah, he got stuck at the pit gate. He didn't get out in time. He was a bit late, so they didn't open the gate for him. So I think we've got to go down and give him a couple of beers at the end of the night.
Now, Lucas, your own performance, how would you assess it?
No, that heat was pretty good. Obviously, starting out of 2 with the cush forming up top. Their car was pretty good running up there. But I don't know how long the cushion's going to last. I think the race might be won on the bottom, so a few of the guys might get on the bottom in the dash we're going to do. So we'll keep an eye on everyone, see what they're going to do, and obviously change our setup a little bit as well.
You're always chasing setup in this sport with an ever-changing track surface. All right, time to bounce around the pits and catch up with a few drivers. Drury is a busy man. Here he is with Matt Pascoe.
Yeah, Matty Pascoe. Well, slow down, Matty. Have a chat to us, please. We saw some work on your car earlier. We just wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah, no, we just threw everything at it, the same as what we had last year. But we just didn't make, hopefully we haven't made the same mistake as last year with the tyre choice. So we've gone with what we should have done last year. So we'll see what happens in this dash. We've thrown everything at for the dash. So we'll get a feel for the car in the dash, and we may make a few little changes for the final, but probably won't be much.
So can I ask why you didn't make this change at the start of the night if you knew how to approach the night, looking back on last year?
I didn't think the track was going to go away this quick, and I thought the top would have been a bit more heavy, but yeah, she's gone at the moment, so it's good. That's the way I like it.
So you reckon the bottom's the answer then tonight?
No, we'll be running everywhere on the track, but yeah, if they're up high, we'll run low.
Don't worry, I won't tell any other drivers.
Righto.
So Pascoe, he'll be starting out of position number 4 in tonight's main event. Of course, the pit's a beehive of activity ahead of tonight's main event. Let's go back to Drury.
Lachlan Onley, mate, how you going? What a surprise.
Yeah, mate, no, we're going all right. Just change a few things and see how we are for the dash, yeah.
Mate, how are you feeling and how's the car feeling so far into the night?
Yeah, no, the car's all right. We just sort of couldn't get it's pretty much a one lane up top at the moment. Pretty greasy sort of still down the bottom, so I think anybody that can get that bottom right for later will be pretty good, I think, yeah.
Mate, how do you handle the pressure? You're one of the few New South Wales drivers here flying the sky blue flag, so does that make you feel prouder or a bit of extra pressure, do you think?
Yeah, no, we just try and do our best for New South, and Tony's the other New South Wales fella on it, but we don't get too much support from the other New South Wales guys on the National Series, yeah.
It looks like you got the missus working on the car over there.
Yeah, no, she's the crew chief, so she can go for it.
So she's the boss?
She's the boss, yeah.
Thanks, Lachlan.
Thank you.
Of course she's the boss. No doubt about it. Now, Lachlan Onley, he'll start from position 7 tonight. Mick Nicola having a fantastic series, and here he is now with Drury.
Well, championship leader Mick Nicola getting ready for the A-main, and I can see a bit of damage to the side of the car, Mick. What's going on?
Yeah, having a bit of trouble catching hold of the track. Some of the locals are really quick here, so we just have to try another setup and go out and try again.
And how do you think you'll approach the A-main?
Oh, we've got to tighten the car up a lot. I think the locals knew to do that and we didn't, so we'll tighten her up and we'll start off the rear and try and work our way through.
There's a lot on the line here tonight. This is the third last round of the whole series.
Yeah, I've lost a few points tonight, so hopefully I can finish in the top 4 or 5 and then redeem myself again next week.
Yeah, Mick starting from a fair way back on the grid tonight. He hasn't had a great run this evening, night 2 of this 5th round at Hobart in Tasmania. We'll take a break and come back with the main event next.
You're watching the 19th season of Chequered Flag, proudly presented by Valvoline SynPower, delivering the ultimate motor oil protection and performance.
Cars on the circuit now for tonight's main event to be conducted over 50 laps of the Mountain Dew Ice Raceway. Welcome to our highlights package. as we take a look at the grid with Rod Colhoun.
Yeah, Darren Kane out of 1. Lucas Roberts, Peter Nicola, Matt Pascoe, David Nichols, Brad Smith, Lachlan Onley, Dave Gartner, Mick Doblow, and Jason McPherson, who's been doing very well so far. Tony Barclay-Moore, Callum Harper, Mick Nicola, Adam Beachy, Mark Pagel, Billy Miller, Jack Child, Steve Latham, and Jared Harper.
Ah, beautifully done, Rocket. Smooth as silk. That'll be the objective of these drivers too on a track that's been freshly prepped. Dave Gartner, onboard camera. He's starting back a little. Darren Kane goes to the front. So a perfect start by the former Tasmanian who has been residing in Brisbane for many years now. Fence cam, traffic all over the shop. Let's try and sort them out for you. So Kane leads Matty Pascoe, then Lucas Roberts is next, followed by Peter Nicola.
There you can see the inside line has taken rubber now. It's turning a little bit blue, so plenty of drive down low. Also a nice cushion up top, so we should see some great two-line racing.
On board with Dave Gartner, with Harper behind him. Up on the inside goes Harper. Meanwhile, Nicola applies the pressure to Lucas Roberts. As the battle continues, there's Roberts and Nicola. And Brad Smith.
Yeah, Brad Smith now into everything here, getting all over the back of car number 2. Very, very tight here, and a problem here for Kane with smoke pouring from the vehicle.
Yeah, let's see if that becomes a terminal problem or whether he can battle on, whether it's just a bit of oil on the headers or something. He's certainly not slowing down any. Now we go on board and watch the style of Darren Kane. There are none better when it comes to driving speedway sedans.
No, Kane really is held in high esteem within this sport, and quite rightly so, an absolute champion.
Gives you a wonderful insight into what racing speedway is all about as we ride on board with the legend that is Darren Kane. Pretty smooth out there. And that problem with the smoke continuing, but it's definitely not slowing him down.
No, it doesn't seem to be bothering as far as his driving's concerned. It may or may not be affecting his competitors, but that's not Darren's concern at the moment.
Lap 8 of 50, we go to a stoppage. Amber caution lights. Nicola has spun the car on turn number 1. So the current series leader has had a horrid night really by his incredibly lofty standards. So our highlights package continues. We're right on board with the pace setter that is Darren Kane. Green light conditions again. He charges around this circuit. Our highlights continuing at lap 25 of 50. And the Dominator chassis looking the goods out there.
Yeah, it really is. It's been a dream run so far for Kane. It was a big problem for his competitors that he got away to such a great start. They really needed to can him back in the pack and hold him back, but it's not happening.
Wonderful battle, Lucas Roberts and Matt Pascoe, the reigning Australian champion, reigning Victorian champion respectively. The two yellow cars side by side. They're not far away from Darren Kane. We've got a race on our hands here. Pascoe muscles his way forward. Roberts won't cop that, he'll come back.
Yeah, the interesting thing was when Pascoe was interviewed earlier by Drury, he talked about the setup, and it looks like it's coming in for him mid-race. The low line's working for him, and he's catching Kane ever so slightly.
So Gartner is 4th, Steve Latham, the Tasmanian, is 5th, the best of the local stars. Nice shot of Roberts. He's got Pascoe well and truly in his sights. And that smoke still continues to pour from beneath the hood of the Darren Kane machine. I'm convinced it's not too problematic though.
No, it doesn't seem to be at all. He's had the problem almost since the race began, so it doesn't seem to be terminal.
It's only a problem for the guys behind that can't see because of it.
Exactly right.
Dave Gartner arriving on the scene, looking very competitive. He's found some moisture on the bottom of the track, working for the number 8 car, the GT Bobcat entry. Good battle between he and Steve Latham. Lucas Roberts ahead of them. Matt Pascoe 1 spot further up the track.
Yeah, and Jared Harper, also another driver working his way up from the back of the pack, so getting very busy at the front.
Heavy contact there between Gartner and Mick Nicola. And also another car involved in that. Onley's in heavy traffic. There's Childs in the 24 car. Onley in the centre. Onley going forward. He's gone past Dave Gartner. On board the Valvoline SynPower race cam of Dave Gartner. That's Billy Miller, you can see. On board camera struggling a bit in the low light. A little grainy. We apologise for that, but still a shot worth showing. Kane up high down the main straight again. Matt Pascoe smooth as ever. Lucas Roberts would be happy to be staying on equal terms with him. Latham producing a tremendous drive, and here's Onley.
Yeah, Latham and Onley really going at it. Interesting thing now is going to be at the front between Pascoe and Kane is line selection. Kane's been driving high all night. The entire racing line has moved a long way towards the fence. We see a car spin in the background.
Yeah, car's gone to the infield. The Petters entry. And will they stop the race? Will they deem that he's positioned dangerously? We continue on with the battle at the present time. And Matt Pascoe is starting to eat into the lead that Darren Kane enjoys. There's 14 laps to go. On board again with Darren. There's the amber lights now. You can see the amber lights. It's because Adam Beachy's car is stranded. So back through to the restart. Again, a big wrap to Speedway Australia. National Oval Track Racing's peak body for their support in bringing you the coverage out of Tasmania tonight. At stoppage hasn't done Lucas Roberts chances any harm at all. He moves up a bit closer to Matt Pascoe. Onley, in the meantime, has been able to effect an inside job on Steve Latham. And now Dave Gartner tries to do likewise.
Yeah, just reverting back to what I was saying about the track. The cushion is very, very close to the concrete wall now, so you've really got to commit to the outside line. That's going to open up the door for Pascoe if he can get that grip going down low, and Kane's been running high all race.
Plenty of traffic jams, and there's one there. What a battle. Harper's involved, and 4 or 5 other cars. In fact, both Harpers are involved. Gartner, Peter Nicola up top. That's Jared you just saw in the number 2 car. And this is the battle for the lead, and Darren Kane is coming back to them. Pascoe right behind him, and Roberts is with him too.
Yeah, getting very busy. The intricate part of the Super Sedan setup is forecasting what's going to happen to the track over the 50 laps. That's the interesting thing about being in the pit crew with these cars. You heard it in the interview, oh, we've got a spinner.
Onley, he gets nailed by Latham. Latham had nowhere to go. Peter Nicola able to pull up and avoid it in the main. So with 10 to go, we've got some carnage at the Mountain Dew Ice Raceway. Another look. Lachlan just too aggressive. There was no chance of an inside pass there on Lucas Roberts.
No,
Lucas was holding his line.
Yeah, coming there a little bit hard, and it's caught him out and cost him some valuable positions at least.
So again on board with Darren Kane. Looking for the green lights. There they are now. Drifts up towards the wall. Down low for the run through the first turns. Now these cars don't have mirrors, but he'd be aware. He could hear the snarling 650 horsepower engines of his closest rivals behind him. Not far to go now in this main event coming out of Tasmania.
Yeah, Roberts also right in the thick of this now.
Man up front is Darren Kane. See how close they drift to the wall. Natural G-forces. There's Latham, and he's being kept very busy by Jared and Callum Harper. Jared in the number 2 car. One of the most miraculous Australian Championship victories I've ever seen when he won it in Brisbane. Only led for all bar, I think, 2 laps from memory. And Jared got him very late in the race.
Yeah, and Jared had been such a great driver for so long, you'd have to say he deserved to win one.
Exactly. And of course, Onley has been on the podium every year since, underlining his consistency and quality. So a tick over 5 laps remaining here. The battle is on in earnest. 2 of the truly great drivers in national racing. Darren Kane and Matt Pascoe slugging it out. And Lucas Roberts losing nothing to the pair.
Yeah, and Darren is maintaining his liking for the outside run. Roberts is going with him, and interesting to see Pascoe just following Kane at the moment. Will he go for an inside pass?
I think he'll go for any pass.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's a chance now. No. Kane had a good enough run off turn number 4. It was an optical illusion, the camera angle. It looks like Pascoe had almost drawn level with him. So very late stages of the race now. And it's all happening up front.
Yeah, these three guys really putting on a battle royale here at Hobart for the fans. They were really enjoying this. 3 of the best competitors in the nation going head-to-head.
There's your race leader. One of the all-time great tin top drivers. He's only a few laps from home and puts himself straight back into championship contention. He's had a fair bit of bad luck in the series thus far that he's attempting to defend. There's only about 6 car lengths separating the top 3 cars, Rod.
Yeah, very, very tight race, and a credit to everyone involved. There's been very few stoppages. It's been almost a start to finish, flag to flag race.
Last lap with Kane and Pascoe and Lucas Roberts very close together. White flag on their final circulation. Pascoe to the inside, looking for some grip. Does he find it? Oh, wow, great stuff. Kane fights back on the outside. Pascoe not done with yet. The run to the checkered flag. Pascoe is there, but Kane takes it. Wonderful race. When you consider the smoke that was pouring from the Kane machine throughout, that's something of a miracle, Rod Culhern.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the inside move I was thinking of with Pascoe. Was he just showing Kane the outside, then all of a sudden dive under? He tried it. Tell you what, wasn't far off.
Highly entertaining race. Epic battle down to the checkered flag tonight at Hobart. And Kane, another main event victory. Stopping for the checkered flag. Haven't we seen so much of this over the years? Darren Kane, a winner of round 5 of this series.
Well, round 5 winner of the National Super Sedan Series tonight here at Hobart, Darren Kane. Congratulations. I can see a bit of banter in the background with Matty Pascoe giving you a bit of a slack, but he certainly made you earn that one tonight, and you had a bit of smoke to deal with the whole way through.
Yeah, I think it was the first lap. I had a rocker cover. We replaced the gasket and obviously didn't seal up, and I was in a fair bit of trouble with all the smoke, and we've had troubles over the whole weekend with fuel issues, and it developed about probably 5 or 6 laps into it, started dying again, and I was in a lot of trouble. And then probably about 10 laps to go, the oil pressure light started flashing on, and I suppose I was just meant to win this race, and we've had a lot of bad luck with engine so far, and it's just good to get over the line.
He had to fight hard for it, didn't he? Pascoe has gone to the front, meanwhile, by virtue of that second placing tonight. Nicola just behind him. Then Darren Kane has moved up to 3rd. And Michael Doblow next on 1,875 points. So a long way to go in this series. A new website has been launched. Your #1 news source for all things Speedway. Speedway.com.au, part of the Speedway Racing News family. Check it out. And for more info, Facebook and Twitter. Next week on Checkered Flag, we return with sprint cars. It's the AHG Sprint Car Series at the Perth Motorplex. And you'll see that 8:30 on Wednesday night. For further info, Twitter, Facebook or Instagram. Rod, good to work with you again tonight. Yeah, Darren Kane, outstanding.
Yeah, it really was. It was a great meeting. I really enjoyed it, Dave, and look forward to the next one.
Thanks for being with us this week on Checkered Flag. Darren Kane defeating Matt Pascoe and Lucas Roberts in what turned out to be a highly entertaining 50-lap event. Do hope you've enjoyed the highlights. We'll see you on next week's show.
You've been watching Checkered Flag on Speed, proudly presented by Valvoline SynPower, delivering the ultimate motor oil protection and performance.